Welcome, my English friends. I'm in Stuttgart today. Mercedes invited me to a workshop called E-Class Design Insights. You might know that the new Mercedes E-Class will be presented or debut at the NAIAS in Detroit in January 2016. And Mercedes invited us for a sneak preview of the interior design. So I'm allowed to show some details, not everything, because they want to spare out the main part for the NAIAS. However, I can already give you a little bit of insights what's going on with the new E-Class. For instance, behind me you see Classic, Sport and Progressive. Those are not the new trim levels, but the cockpit, the gauges, for instance, will have a separate design. And we will have a sneak preview of how this is going to look like. They will give us an insight how the new Burmester system will work in the E-Class. And I've seen something about 64 colors of the ambient light. So I'm pretty sure that I can show you some of the ambient light. I'm not allowed to film everything here, but whenever I can, I will just push the record button and share it with you. Just a sneak preview of the headlights with a multi-beam function. They're gonna look like this. And here we got the rear lights, and they call it Stardust design, or yeah, supposed to look like Stardust. The new E-Class will come with a new generation of the multi-beam light system, which means instead of just 24 LEDs, we got 84 now. And this means that the light resolution is increased by the factor of 3.5 for every different type. And we got up to 2.5 better lights than all the other systems in the market. At least that's what Mercedes claims. As well, they show us the trims inside, or the applications, the different application. Unlike this one, pretty much open pore light brown ash wood trim. It's called. It's not. There's not any paint over it. Feels good. Looks good. And they give us all the different versions here. They all hang around. We can touch them. We can feel them. And yes, it's a little bit abstract. However, you know, if you're long enough in the job, you can make yourself a pretty neat picture what it's going to look like inside. Okay, I just attended the first panel, was the starting panel, and the designer explained us how the interior design was developed from the first sketch to the current model. And that's pretty interesting. I know they always have different teams that turn in ideas, and then one idea is picked for the whole thing, and so they work with it. And he was showing us different sketches, showing us the history of the development of the new E-Class interior. And I think it's pretty interesting. They looked up to the S-Class and down to the C-Class. And the new E-Class is a pretty neat mix between the S-Class, so the swing from the dashboard of the S-Class was adapted, as well as the middle, the center from the C-Class. And here we got the new E-Class. Pretty neat and pretty smart, I guess. Besides that, we know the two big TFT panels from the S-Class. The C-Class has them as well, but as a free floating display and covered under one big glass unit. And I think it looks pretty neat. For the controls, they have different themes now. So that's Classic, Sport and Progressive. Classic is what we know from the S-Class and the C-Class, a pretty neat mix. Sport is the whole thing colored in yellow and red, so sporty of course. And Progressive is something new, something different, and it's supposed to be like, you know, an urban surrounding at night, sort of, with blue centered gauge. And that's neat. So I can jump now from room to room and check out the different interiors and this different styles or themes for the dashboard. Well, for the classic design, it's not too exciting, I guess. Still, let's have a short look. Well, what I show you here now is a standard setup, and as our name says, it's Mercedes-Benz standard, but still some things change. So the ref gauge, for instance, you can replace it by other views, for instance, the navigation, which is pretty neat. And with the second display, the middle display, you have now the ability to have a sort of split screen, which you know from BMW maybe, but it's not for all the different views. For instance, the navigation system is always full screen, but if you're on radio or media or phone, you can say, well, I want to see this part with the split screen, and you can decide, do you want the navigation view on part of the split screen while you navigate through different radio stations. I think that's pretty neat too. So I would like to show you, or give you at least a little glimpse of the different interior ambient light colors. We can scroll seamless through 64 different colors, and as I scroll through with the jog shuttle, the car gives me all the colors. And I think it's at least a neat little feature, and you can have a glimpse of it. I just came through this curtain, and in front of me is the all-new E-Class. I can see it. It's a little bit camouflaged still, but just a tiny bit. But I'm not allowed to tell you anything about it. I'm only allowed to tell you about the interior, because this whole workshop is all about the interior. And I was quite surprised. The room I'm in, that's the sport room. So the cluster, the instrument cluster, is in sport mode. And what you see here, what I show you, is all the sport view. I will show you the different views in the other rooms. However, Mercedes did something really new on the steering wheel. On the left and right, we have now a sort of a little pedal, sensitive, sensitive sensors, and you can scroll over them, like, you know, swiping almost up and down to navigate through the board computer on the left side on the steering wheel. You press the home button and then you can go to the other sections. On the right side of the steering wheel, same stuff, just for the infotainment system. And just my first try, my first glimpse, I'm already pretty impressed. That's awesome. That's really cool, good idea, and I'm pretty surprised as well. And now for the last attempt, here's the progressive style. Let's walk inside. A neat little detail, look at the new start-stop button here. It's illuminated. Just a quick glimpse on the progressive design of the dashboard or the cockpit. You have the center display here, or the center gauge, and on the sides you can change the different stuff. Well, they call it concert hall experience. Well, I would like to check out myself at least. It's another dark room, so let's walk inside. Well, if you look close, I really have tears in my eyes, and I'm not lying. I'm really touched. I was just able to listen to the new Burmester sound system in the E-Class. They will have a high-end solution and a more reasonable price-wise solution. We just listened to the premium version, and I'm really touched. The system is just awesome. I was talking to the guy, and I personally think it's even better than the one in the S-Class, and that was my favorite system so far. Honestly, you know, I'm trying not to be too much of a Mercedes fanboy, but this system is so great. I would buy the car just for the music system. I'm really touched. It's crazy. Well, that's it. I hope it gave you a little insight, and you're looking forward to see more of the new E-Class, which will be introduced at the NAIAS in Detroit in January 2016. I'm saying so long and goodbye, yours Jan, Mr. Z.